Episode 5, Predicting the Unpredictable, Why AI is Now Critical to Freight Strategy. Welcome back to Holding the Line, a Logistics at a Crossroads podcast. I'm your host, Gia. And today, let's talk about the elephant in every boardroom, every dispatcher's office, and every planning meeting that's happening right now. Unpredictability. Tariffs, interest rates, labor strikes, port delays, fuel hikes, sudden closures. All of it. If the past few years have taught us anything, it's this. Business as usual doesn't exist anymore. And we're no longer reacting to one-off events. We're navigating overlapping crises. In that kind of climate, one thing has become painfully clear. Logistic leaders need tools that can think faster, model smarter, and adapt in real time. That's where artificial intelligence isn't just useful, it's becoming mission critical. Let's be honest. Traditional planning cycles, they're just not cutting it. There was a time when our gut instinct and last year's spreadsheet could get us through the quarter. But those days are long gone. AI-powered forecasting tools are giving us something we haven't had: clarity. They're helping us spot that shift before it breaks the system. They're modeling demand patterns, analyzing port behavior. They're even tracking economic instability as it's happening. Think about it. What used to take our best analysts a week to map out can be processed now in minutes. What if the rail line shuts down in Memphis again? What if the container demand spikes next quarter because of the new trade restrictions? What happens if Panama sees another drought? With AI, we're not just asking those questions, we're simulating them. And the difference between reacting and preparing, that's the difference between surviving and scaling. But let me be clear. This is where a dangerous gap starts forming. One I've lived through more times than I can count. Because even with better forecasting, the conversation often skips us, the people on the ground. And let me explain to you what I'm saying. You're a planner. You've just wrapped up a 10-hour shift. I've rerouted containers, juggled vessel delays, covered for a sick dispatcher, and just as you're about to clock out, a new routing directive drops in your inbox. No heads up, no context, just effective immediately. What do? And that happens to us every other week. That's the reality for many of us. Too often, we're told to adapt, but left in the dark. Look, leadership runs the numbers. AI kicks out a model. And those of us doing the actual executing, we're only getting 20% of the narrative and 100% of the responsibility to make it work. We're expected to make it work because the system says it should work. And here's the hard truth. Just because it works on paper doesn't mean it will work when we put it to the test. Forecasting tools right now are incredible. I believe in them. But they're only as powerful as the communication they support. When your frontline staff, your yard personnel, your dispatchers are left out of the planning process, something breaks. And it's usually not the model. It's the morale in the room. Let's be clear. AI is already transforming logistics. Autonomous load planning is cutting dial time. Dynamic pricing adjustments instantly to the fuel cost and tariff shifts. Predictive maintenance is saving carriers, maintenance crews from breakdowns before they ever leave the lot. But AI isn't here to replace us. It's here to amplify us. The best teams, they're not afraid of the tools. We aren't. We love them. They're integrating them with the human insight, because logistics is never just about math and motion. It's instinct, pattern recognition, knowing when a driver's about to quit, even if the route looks fine on the screen. AI can optimize, but it can't empathize yet. And it definitely can't carry a load that the leadership hasn't even acknowledged exists. So here's what I want to say to those making the big calls. Don't just hand your team a forecast, invite us to the forecasting process. When we build strategies with each other, not around each other, we get better visibility, stronger buy-in, and fewer breakdowns in the field. And to my fellow logistic warriors holding the line every week, I see you. You're not resisting the change. You're managing the chaos with only part of the map. You deserve more than post-shift surprises and reactive schedules. You deserve the whole conversation. Thanks for listening to Holding the Line, a Logistics at a Crossroads podcast. If this episode spoke something to you, you're living through, leave a comment, send a message, or even share it with your team, because the future of freight, it doesn't belong to any one tool or any one team. It belongs to all of us, navigating together, planning smarter, and holding the line for what's next. And until then, I'll be right along with you, navigating these crossroads.